Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday and time for Take 5, so let's get right to it. We've been recapping the sermon that I preached Sunday entitled Ifs, Ands, and My Big But. This is the fifth part of our Back to Basics series, and we're talking about the birth and the calling of Moses, but more specifically, the calling of Moses there at the burning bush in Exodus chapter 3 and chapter 4. And again, our title is Ifs, Ands, and My Big But. Yesterday we talked a little bit about Moses and how God commanded Moses, told Moses that he wanted Moses to go back to Egypt where he had left some 40 years before, and to go to the Pharaoh of that time and tell him that God demands that you release my people, that you release the Hebrew people so that they can go and worship me in the wilderness. And we read four different places, four different excuses that Moses gave God as to why he shouldn't or couldn't go back and do that. One time he said he wasn't good enough. He wasn't educated enough. He wasn't the man for the job. One time he said that he gets tongue-tied and he's not the man to stand up and publicly speak. And one time he questioned God and said, the people, they won't believe me if I come to them. He had all of these excuses. Every time God told him he wanted to go back, Moses kept saying, but God, I can't do it because of this. But God, I can't do it because of this. All of these buts in his life. And what I want you to understand is that we all have a big but. And I'm not talking about a physical big but. I'm talking about a but, B-U-T. We all have these buts in our life, these excuses that we give for why we're not doing things that we know we should be doing, or why we haven't stopped doing things we know we shouldn't be doing. I mean, we all have these buts in our life. Some of us, God has been calling us for years and years to become a faithful tither. And it doesn't matter how much teaching we get on the subject, or how many times we hear preachers talk about it, how many sermon series on giving we go through. We just refuse to do it. It doesn't matter how long we live in the curse that God says we will live through if we don't do it. Some of us just refuse to do it. And we give these excuses like, God, I want to be a giver. And God knows my heart. I want to be a giver, but I just can't afford to tithe. Some of us, God has been trying to get us to be more faithful to our church for years and years. And some of us just refuse to do it. And we use excuses like, I know that I need to start being more faithful to my church and more involved in my church, but I just have so much going on in my life. Some of us, God's been calling for years and years to be more present in our relationship with Him. And for whatever reason, no matter how many times we hear preachers tell us that daily Bible reading and daily prayer is essential to maintain and to have a good relationship with God, we just refuse to do it. And we say things like, I can't read the Bible because I'm just not much of a reader. Or I can't pray because I just don't have time in my day. And I could just keep going on and on about all kinds of different excuses that we all have. And growing up in ministry and now being in ministry for about 5 years, I've heard my fair share of excuses from people of why they can't do this, or why they can't do this, or why they haven't stopped doing this. And the truth is, I've given my fair share of excuses also. The truth is, all of us have excuses, give excuses in our life in different areas, some of us in multiple areas. We give excuses to God for why we're not doing certain things, why we haven't started doing some of the things He wants us to do, or some of the principles that we read and learn in Scripture. Some of us have excuses of why we haven't stopped certain sins that we know we shouldn't be doing. We all have excuses. We all have a big but in our life. So the question today, and the thing I want you to ponder throughout this today, the rest of the day, is what's yours? What's your but? Maybe you have one, maybe you have several. Whatever it is, and whatever area of life it is, you need to spend some time today really thinking about the areas of your life that you have a big but. the areas of your life that you just continue to give excuses to God about why you're not doing the things He has commanded you to do. Spend the rest of the day thinking about what your big but is. And I guarantee you, you might even be a little bit shocked to realize some of the places in your life where you have a big but. Hope you have a great day the rest of the day. I'll see you right here tomorrow. We'll talk about that big but a little bit more. See you later.